Hansel and Gretel. Part 3. Early the next morning, while the children were still sound asleep, the witch got up. Seeing Hansel and Gretel's rosy, chubby cheeks, she smirked wickedly and muttered to herself,
"I'll have a delicious meal soon."
She grabbed Hansel, dragged him out of bed, and locked him in a small cage. Despite his cries and pleas, she paid him no attention.
"Get out, you lazy girl! Fetch some water to cook your brother a nice meal. He's out there in the cage. I need to fatten him up, and once he's plump, I'll eat him."
Gretel burst into tears, but it was no use. She had to obey the witch's commands. From that day on, Hansel was given the best food, while Gretel only got the leftovers. Each morning, the witch would creep over to Hansel's cage and say,
"Hansel, stick out your finger so I can see if you've fattened up yet."
But Hansel was clever. He stuck out a small bone he had found in the cage. With her poor eyesight, the witch thought it was his finger and was puzzled.
"Why aren't you getting any fatter?"
4 weeks passed, and Hansel still seemed thin. The witch grew impatient.
"Gretel, come here, Gretel. Hurry up and fetch some water. Whether Hansel is fat or skinny, I'm cooking him tomorrow."
Hearing this, Gretel cried as she carried water to the pot. Tears streamed down her cheeks.
"Dear God, please help us. It's better to be eaten by wild animals than to die here alone. At least my brother and I would be together."
The witch overheard her and snapped.
"Stop that crying. It won't change anything."
Early the next morning, the witch ordered Gretel to start preparing the oven.
"Let's bake some bread first. I've already lit the oven and the dough is ready."
She led Gretel to the blazing oven.
"Call in and check if the oven is hot enough for the bread."
But Gretel was clever. She realized the witch's plan to push her into the oven.
"I don't know how to get in there."
"Fool, the opening is wide enough. Even I can fit inside, let alone you."
The witch bent down and stuck her head into the oven to show Gretel.
"Is the oven really this wide?"
"Of course it is. Look here."
As soon as the witch leaned in, Gretel seized the moment. She gave the witch a strong push, sending her into the oven. Then she slammed the iron door shut and bolted it tight. The witch's terrible screams echoed, but Gretel didn't waver. She ran straight to Hansel's cage and unlocked it.
"Hansel, we're free. The wicked witch is dead."
Hansel leapt out of the cage and hugged Gretel tightly. The siblings jumped for joy, their hearts filled with relief. Afterward, the two ventured into the witch's house. They found chests full of jewels and treasures.
"This is much better than pebbles."
"I'll take some home too."
Gretel filled her apron with jewels, while Hansel stuffed his pockets.
"Let's get out of this forest right now."
They walked for hours until they came to a large river.
"I don't see a bridge. How will we cross to the other side?"
"There's no ferry either. But look, there's a white duck swimming. Let me ask it for help."
Gretel called out to the duck.
Little duck, can we ride on your back? Take Hansel and Gretel to cross the river and we'll thank you forever."
The duck swam over to the shore. Hansel started to climb on and motioned for Gretel to follow.
"No, Hansel. If we both get on, it'll be too heavy. Let the duck take us one at a time."
The kind duck ferried them across one by one. Once across the river, Hansel and Gretel continued walking. As they walked, the forest began to look familiar. Finally, in the distance, they saw their home. The children ran as fast as they could and threw their arms around their father. By this time, their mother had passed away. Since the day he left his children in the forest, the father had been filled with regret.
"Father, we're home."
Gretel untied her apron, spilling jewels all over the floor. Hansel reached into his pockets and pulled out handfuls of treasures. From that day on, the family never worried about hunger again. They lived happily ever after. And that's the end of my story. Over there, in the corner, a mouse is running by. Catch it, and you can use its fur to make a fine hat. The ending of Hansel and Gretel emphasizes the power of love, courage, and intelligence. Despite facing great hardships, the siblings' unity and cleverness helped them overcome danger and return to a happy life.